Okay, and this time I want to start on DTMs. DTM stands for Deformable Template Model, I think. And it's basically a way of finding finding a object with a certain few points. So instead of having to search for a bunch or cluster of pixels altogether, it will search individual dots. Let's get paint up for this, for an example. So basically, instead of searching, say like you got a bitmap, instead of searching all of that, instead of searching all of those pixels for a certain colour or certain colours, what it can do instead, let's make this larger so you can see, is it will search maybe a pixel there, 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 and a pixel there. And if it finds the correct colours in each of those points, then you'll know that it's found it, which makes it a lot more CPU friendly than bitmaps, but unfortunately it does also mean that they can be less reliable. But generally they're quite accurate. So let's start and we'll do one on RuneScape. So pick RuneScape up and log in. And we'll create one of something in my inventory. Let's create one of the icta file. So let's get Simba. Make it nice and small so you can see your screen. Drag the crosshair over to RuneScape so it selects the client. And if you go into Tools, oh no, I don't think I enabled it yet. Go to View and Extensions, and then on DTM Editor, enable that. Right. Now you can go to Tools, DTM Editor, and you've got literally just RuneScape. Whether you've got Simba over or not, you've got RuneScape. So choose one point on the item, and you want to add a little bit of tolerance to this. This is so because when RuneScape changes its colours every time you load the client. So you want it to still be able to find it when you reload the client next time. So we'll stick that with a tolerance of, I don't know, 10. If you want to make sure it's not too much tolerance and goes over everything, then you can click Mark and it will show you everything that it's found. So as you can see, it's found a bit on the meter bar here, and it's found the bits from the icta file. And that's perfectly fine because it's not going to be able to get those mixed up once you've got the rest of the points put in. Then you've got, if you just do some clicks on the outline, and as you can see, the outline, there it is, click, damn. Okay, I seem to have broken it. Okay, start again. New. Right. So let's choose a colour. Give it tolerance of 10. And then choose, go along the outline. There you go. And as you can see, all of the outline is the exact same colour. It's 131072. And this is a static colour which jagex have set for the outline of objects and stuff in your inventory. And this helps us a lot because as the outline colour doesn't actually change at all, whether you refresh it or not, you don't need to add any tolerance to that. So just once you've selected that and you've given the tolerance to the ones which you want, whoops, there shouldn't be any tolerance there, 0. So make sure that none of the others have tolerance because that could potentially mess it up. 0, 0, 0, 0, and finally 0. Right. So now we don't have any tolerance for the outline, and that's fine because, like I said, the colour doesn't change. Now if you click Image and then, no sorry, DTM and print DTM, and then you can close that, and you'll see that it's printed out a bit at the bottom there. So just copy that bit, and copy, so it's nice and long, and DTMs are stored in integers, so we need to create a new variable, and call it vial, and that's going to be an integer. Now, next, we need to declare the DTM. So we'll do vial equals, and then we'll paste that in. And that is the DTM. Just that long string of letters, characters. And to use the DTM, we use find DTM. And then we've got the DTM. A couple more which we actually need to include. We've got the x coordinate, which is the x coordinate of where it found the DTM, and the y coordinate of where it found the DTM. So going back to that, we've got the DTM, we have the x coordinate, we have the y coordinate, then we have the x starting position, so main inventory x1, and the starting y position, so main inventory y1, and the x ending position, so main inventory x2, and the same with y, main inventory y2. And these four, as I've probably told you, I think I've told you before, are the bounds for the inventory. So x1 y1 is up here, and x2 y2 is down here. So close that up, and then put a semicolon on the end. And then if we want to know where, let's move the mouse to it. So if we M mouse, which stands for move mouse, then we can put the X and the Y positions in, and then we'll put some randoms. And as we actually want to move the mouse directly to where it's found it, we'll set them as 0, so there's no random at all. And then finally, what this is needed to do, because otherwise you'll create memory leaks, you need to free the DTM, and then you just put the DTM in there, so vial, and now if we try and find it, it should, there you go, it's moved the mouse over to the vial, so it's found it out of the whole of the screen. We've managed to find the vial. Now if we move that down there, down there, and we try it again, making sure that it can see it, press play, and there you go, it's found it. So that is one way of actually finding stuff, and it's extremely easy to create DTMs because, well, you've seen how easy they are, and they can be extremely useful. Now, one of the biggest problems is when you try and create something for leather. Here you go. I'll get some pieces of leather out of the bank. Let's see what we've got in terms of leather. Okay, that's not good. Tell you what, I'll just use. Here you go. We'll use some. We'll just use the runes in my inventory. So bring some up. DTM, and we'll create one of, say, the blood rune. So create some points around it. Now notice I'm missing out the top part because it's a stacked item, which means that the text could potentially get in the way and overlap the outline. So I'm going to leave the top part alone and just sort of do that area there. Once again, add a bit of tolerance to it so it doesn't change, and we'll set that to 10 and print it, and we'll replace it. We'll replace the vial with the rune DTM, and it should. There you go. It's moved over to the rune. Now, one problem I did want to show you, not entirely. Oh, I know how I can recreate it actually. Is if you were to create one, if you've got the same shapes like you have with runes, each rune is the same shape, and the only difference between them is the colour on top of them, the symbol. And this can cause problems because even if you give that a tolerance of, well, even if you don't give it a tolerance at all, although it's going to break, another problem that's going to occur is, let's see if I can get this working. It should. There you go. It's gone and found that rune. Although I made it from the blood rune, it's gone and found the death rune because they're the same shape, and it's also found the same colours. So this could potentially be a big problem. One problem which I know it is a problem with, one thing I know it's a problem with, is hatchets. Because when you've got something like an iron hatchet and a bronze hatchet, although you could pick, the only difference in colour is the head, but you could end up picking a colour from there and a colour from there, adding a little bit of tolerance to make sure it doesn't break. But your script, it could theoretically, the colours could be similar enough for it to mix the two up. So you might end up having a iron hatchet in your backpack, but it thinks it's a bronze hatchet, which usually isn't too much of a problem, because if the user ends up setting up their account properly, there isn't going to be a problem at all, and it won't need to worry whether the account level is high enough to use the axe. But that is one problem that could arise, and there isn't really anything you can do to get around that, unfortunately. But no, that's all I can think about. You've got how to make them. You know how to use them. Wait, there are other ones you can do. This is especially useful if you're going to be using it for map. Let's try and get that map to actually be straight. I'm assuming that's probably actually going to be the straightest I'm going to get it. Let's use this boxish one up here. Go straight. So I'll use this closed one here. Now, what we could do is we can create a DTM of that shop. Go to image and then load client image, and that will refresh it all to the current one. And you can make one of that shop. So let's just do the white outline, for example. And this could be used for finding the shop. Oops, didn't want that one. So we'll have the outline like that, and I don't think the colour of the shops actually changed, so you shouldn't need to add any tolerance to them either. Just print DTM. Oops, wrong button, and replace it. Now it's not in the inventory anymore, it's actually in the minimap. So you want minimap X1, minimap Y1, minimap X2, and minimap Y2. And now it should find it on the minimap. Oops, that seems to have changed. Let's hope that's okay. There you go, and it's found the shop. So you can use it for finding things on the map as well.